Hi, I'm Jay, the Client Success Manager here at Root. And if you reach out to us, I'll most likely be the first person you talk to. Welcome to Advisor Unplugged, where you get a behind the scenes sneak peek at the real humans behind the planning. Let's be honest, one of the biggest reasons someone chooses an advisor is trust. So we're having these conversations so you know about our team before you ever hop on the call. Today, we dig in with Katie Villegas out of Durham, North Carolina, who tells a story about going from wanting to be a spy to a financial planner. Let's dig in. I'm here with my friend Katie V, as we call her, Katie Villegas, out of Durham, North Carolina, right, Katie?
Exactly.
One of
Thanks,
our,
Jay. Good to be here.
yeah, I'm going to get right into it, Katie. I have got to talk to you about your childhood dreams of being a world class spy and going and getting your graduate degree in Paris, France, studying um,
Relations.
international relations, right? Okay,
Yep.
just get right into it. Tell me about how you had hopes, dreams, and aspirations to do that.
So growing up, we traveled a good amount. My parents, so my mom was a teacher,
Yep.
and that's what I studied in college. I thought if I'm a teacher, I could go anywhere, live anywhere, have adventures. But my dad was actually in Army intelligence during Vietnam, and he got sent to Iran. Where he met my mom actually on a blind date anyway. But growing up, heard a lot of stories about their adventures
Yeah.
living overseas in Army intelligence, thinking that this would be so cool. And ended up not loving teaching. So decided to go to grad school for something I was very interested in, which was international relations.
Yeah.
Um, and so if I'm going to study that, might as well go international and found a wonderful school in Paris and lived there for a couple of years. It did not launch me into being a global spy, unfortunately, or fortunately, because of where I am now. But it was
Yes.
a blast. It was absolutely wonderful.
What made you like? Was it sometime, obviously in grad school, where you're like, this isn't for me? Like, what was that?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if I was so serious about being a spy because I wasn't committed enough to, you know, put myself on the line, my
Yeah.
life on the line for any particular, agency or country, to be honest. So I thought, I actually ended up writing my thesis on microfinance. And that's how I got interested in finance and money and um, all of that. So that's kind of probably the seeds of how I came to be a financial advisor was studying microfinance back then.
Microfinance. Tell the people out there what microfinance is.
Sure. So this was basically it's thinking about working with populations that have less access to traditional financial institutions. So this was started, in countries like Bangladesh where there just wasn't as much access to capital and resources for the entire population. So
Yeah.
microfinance, kind of the mission of that was to say, okay, well, let's have credit available
Yeah.
to everybody.
Yeah.
And one of kind of the unique things of microfinance is that they had kind of lending circles. So they had this almost peer pressure of a group together, everybody pooling their resources, using that to launch businesses, to create capital and revenue for themselves rather than relying on aid. So it was kind of um, an alternative to global aid.
Really? God, we could do a whole deep dive on that. That sounds so fascinating. So you write your thesis paper on that
Right.
and then boom, idea and you're saying, "Okay, now I think I want to go down the steps of finance."
Yes. Yeah. And so
Okay.
I actually, the first kind of job I took after grad school was working at a community development credit union. So a financial institution that was really geared towards working in the community, access to capital, financial education. So I actually created some curriculum around, credit and savings and banking,
Yes.
and worked there for about, I don't know, I think it was about 4 to 5 years, and really enjoyed it, but it was very much kind of a traditional,
Yeah.
credit union,
Okay.
and less interaction. I had less interaction directly with members. So, um,
Got it.
yeah, kind of worked more in the back office.
Where was that?
It was here in Durham.
Okay, so you went from you grew up in Colorado outside Denver. You end up in oh, actually, you went to school first. You got your
I did.
bachelor's in California.
Yep, exactly.
Where?
Yeah. So Westmont College is a
Yep.
small liberal arts college in Santa Barbara,
Yes.
just north of where you are. I think you had friends who went there as well. I think we talked.
Correct. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
started my journey in Santa Barbara.
that's right.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah, it's a
So
beautiful place.
Santa Barbara, I love you so much. It's it's funny. It's such this incredible town, and there's a handful of schools up there. But I don't know if you have the same thing. But I don't actually know many people from school that got to stay there because there's
Right.
not a ton of
Yeah.
work up there, right?
Yeah.
And now with maybe work from home, there's more availability. But yeah, it's like every time I go up there, I'm like, I pull up the Zillow app. I'm like, God, can I make this happen?
I
No,
know.
I cannot make
Oh,
this happen.
yes, I know.
Yeah.
It was very hard to leave, but it would have been so much harder to stay. It's just, yeah,
Yeah,
cost of living is incredible, but
it's incredible.
um,
So you
yeah,
go from okay, so then you do France, then after Paris you go to Durham,
right.
right?
Yep.
You work for the credit union. Then what's after the credit union?
So I kind of had a winding path. So I ended up at Duke University working in development, so in
Okay.
fundraising,
Yeah.
and was there about 6 years and loved it, but didn't necessarily think that that was where my long-term career was going to be.
Okay.
It was very interesting, thinking through philanthropy, and working with kind of complex gifts and campaigns and educational institutions. But I actually had a really good friend who was an advisor. And the more I spoke with her and heard about the kind of conversations she was having with clients, she specializes in sustainable investing, which I'm very interested in.
Yes.
In my mind, I thought to be in finance, you're on Wall Street. You're
Yeah.
dude, right? Like I didn't picture myself in that space.
For sure.
Um, and so to have kind of a friend, a mentor who was doing really interesting work, and having meaningful conversations around money, it was the first time that I thought, okay, that's what I want to do.
Really? So did you
Yeah.
go find a firm to work for?
I did. Yeah. I found a local firm that I joined, fee only, comprehensive planning,
Okay.
wonderful place locally. And yeah, that's kind of where I started my career.
So you start there and then how do you end up here at Root? Like how did we get so lucky to get you?
Oh my gosh. No, I am the lucky one. I left that firm, joined another one for a little bit. And I think I wanted the best of both worlds. I had kind of seen some firms that focus just on investing, some firms that, are very traditional and
Yes.
do comprehensive planning, but a little bit more kind of slow and steady. And what appealed to me at Root was that it is very comprehensive and not just focused on investing, but it's also got this incredible energy, and vibrancy around helping people, not just with the logistics of money and investing, but having meaningful conversations with clients. And I just didn't find that anywhere else. It's incredibly unique. And at a firm that's growing, but growing sustainably as well.
Yes.
Um, so
I
it's
like that.
just kind of a unicorn. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the key. It's we're growing, but we're growing, as we say, sustainably, responsibly, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Right.
how has it been so far? Like, what's your journey been like so far since you've been with Root?
Mhm.
Has it been what you thought it was going to be?
It's so interesting looking from the outside. And I think Root, because it has so much content out, right? You kind of look at it from an outsider. And I thought, well, obviously it can't be this good where, it looks great. Everybody who works here, looking at their backgrounds is just very impressive.
Yeah.
And I would say, yeah, from the moment I got here, it's been even better than I expected. So very, very grateful, because that's not always the case.
That's the
Yeah.
truth. We actually,
Yeah.
as I've said many times, a lot of people talk about culture, right? And talk the talk, but a lot of people do not walk the walk. And this firm definitely walks the walk. And it's been such a breath of fresh air working here, right? And we have incredible fellow employees and leaders. It's just so great. So Katie V, when I talk about you, I I tell people, I'm like, look, let's just start out with this. She's an incredible soul. She's one of the sweetest people I know. And this background you bring, and it's even hitting me harder now as you've talked about your experience, like through the years and through the journey. It's such an incredible set of tools that you bring, right? Like I knew some of your interests before, but yeah, this makes sense why you're a chartered SRI counselor. So you can help people who are philanthropy inclined, um, socially responsible investing. And I'm like taken back because like I knew the bullet points before, but I didn't know how well versed this history was. And it's so fun to introduce you to new clients because you bring, like I said, all of these tools. Can I ask you, what should clients expect when they're working with you?
Yeah. Well, I think even though I didn't become a teacher with a background in education, I do hope that I bring a level of education. I think, my initial aversion to this field was just thinking, okay, people talk in jargon and down to people, and I want to be the opposite, right? I really want to have an engaging educational conversation with clients to make sure that they feel empowered to make the best decisions for them, and that it's a partnership. So I never want to come at clients with tons of jargon and complexity. I want to kind of be able to break it down, and partner together.
Because Katie, people are legitimately worried about that, right? People are concerned sometimes that this is going to go over their head. That use of financial jargon. We're just going to be talking about buying and selling investments, bull market. People, and it's a concern. I've I've heard many spouses talk about it. Hey, my spouse is not really into this, and he or she is worried about being on the calls because of that. And that's why I like pairing people up with people just like you who I know can synthesize sometimes the tough financial stuff and into this digestible content where anyone can understand it from any level of expertise in finance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, on that,
Yeah.
how would you describe your approach to working with clients? Is there any nuances there?
You know, I I want to make sure that I'm my client's biggest champion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I want to do is approach clients where they are, understand their unique goals, and champion that rather than coming with my assumptions. Um, for example, I may like owning rental properties to me sounds like a nightmare because I never want to be a landlord. That just sounds so difficult. I have no
Right.
skills
Right.
in, fixing up properties, but I certainly have clients who have rental properties. And so I'm not going to come with my bias of, okay, that's a waste of your time. I really want to say, what do you want to do with your resources, which is capital, time, interests, and how can I support them in that? So that's kind of a silly example, but just, you know, putting aside maybe my biases, but really understanding what clients want, what they enjoy doing with their time, and supporting them in their goals.
Well said. Well said. On that note, can you share a story, if you can think
Yeah.
back in the database of, I'm sure you have plenty, but a story when you really felt like the work was making a difference?
Yeah. I think when I think about stories, I think about kind of providing clarity around big questions. Like I had a client who was really tired of her work, wasn't ready to retire, knew that, she had many more years that she wanted to use her skills in the workforce,
Yeah.
but really needed that break.
Yeah.
And so in our work together, found clarity around, okay, take a work sabbatical, like
Yeah.
take a year. What does it look like to take a year? How can we even use some of her resources to fund cash flow during that time?
Yeah.
And then anticipate going back at a lower salary, but maybe for a few more years.
Yeah.
And I think, just seeing the weight come off of somebody's shoulders when they realize they can do this, because it just never occurred
Yeah.
to them to actually take such a long break from work that was just truly not sustainable for them.
Yeah.
Just something like that of it's knowing that that person's quality of life was going to increase dramatically is just the best work I could think of doing.
I know. I mean, think about that, especially in America. We're so work driven. It's like the idea of
Yeah,
taking a sabbatical.
right.
That's tough. And I like the idea of, I tell people there's usually three different things people are solving for. It's like, hey, tell me when I can retire because I'm done working. Two is tell me when I can reduce my workload, right? Which just
Mhm.
sounds like that situation, right? Can I take a lesser salary? Can I take a work
Mhm.
sabbatical and still make this happen? And then three is like recreational employment. But what a great story because yeah, so many people probably think about stuff like that, Katie, right? Could I take a month off? I want to go travel, but oh God, I'm scared to lose my job or to lose income.
Right.
And now you're providing that confidence and clarity and letting them know, hey, this is where you stand. You're in a good place and we're okay to do this. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so tell the people, what is Katie V doing now? You're living in Durham. I know you have a wonderful husband. You're
We
a cat
do.
lady, right?
It depends how you imagine what a cat lady looks like. I do have two cats, but don't necessarily self-identify as a cat lady.
I didn't say crazy cat lady. I just said cat
Okay.
lady.
Okay.
I was a
That's true.
cat guy at one time when I had one.
Okay. Yeah.
So what's life for you guys outside of work?
Yeah. You know, Pretty simple, honestly. I think we enjoy the outdoors. Growing up
Okay.
in Colorado, I spent all my time outdoors, and
Yes.
same in California. Just really enjoying nature. So we hike a lot. I call
Okay.
them mountains here because they're not Colorado mountains, but going on walks in the woods and making good food. We love, like, farmers markets here are incredible. The growing
Yeah.
season is pretty long.
Okay.
So love making good food, hanging out with friends.
Yeah. Have you built a
And
pretty strong community there?
yeah, I've been here about 20 years.
20
So
years?
20 years,
Oh, I
which
did
is
not do the math
unbelievable.
right on that. Okay. You've been there. Okay, so you've been there for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're settled in.
Yeah, it feels like home.
Do you think you're going to be there for long term?
I don't know. Um, my husband loves it, and he's back. He's doing a PhD at Duke, so he has a few more years. So we'll definitely be here for a while.
Okay.
And then I think it'll be interesting to see what he does job wise. If he wants to teach, higher ed is
Yeah.
challenging right now. So I think, yeah, who knows what will
What?
the landscape will look like for his career prospects. But
Okay.
all our family is more out west.
Yeah.
And so I could see if anything, we kind of migrate back at some point. We'll see.
Yeah. So what's he getting a PhD in? I'm so
So
fascinated by
he's
this.
studying religion.
He is?
Yeah. Pretty
That's
opposite of money.
pretty opposite of money. That's incredible. So
Yeah.
is he in education now?
Well, I mean, he's doing the PhD program. He
Yeah.
hasn't, he like does teaching assistants. So he's been a TA for
Okay.
different classes, and he's done that kind of over the years. So he's dipped his toe in and knows that he enjoys doing that.
And he thinks he
Um,
wants to be a professor?
I think so.
Yes.
We'll
I'm
see.
I had a very romantic vision when I was starting school in Santa Barbara. I
Yeah.
started as a communications marketing major,
Okay.
and I had these two history teachers. They were PhDs. They
Mhm.
had their own books, and they got me into history. And I was like, I saw them living and working in Santa Barbara,
Right.
speaking like it was specifically U.S. history,
Okay.
and they were so passionate about it. And I was like,
Mhm.
that's what I'm going to do. I literally flipped my major to U.S. history. I said, I'm going to
Yeah.
be the guy in the corduroy jacket with the arm
Right.
patches, smoking a
Sleeve.
pipe,
Yeah.
reading newspapers, and talking about U.S. history for the rest of my life on the coast of Santa Barbara. I'm telling you, Katie, I switched my majors just like that,
Yeah.
and it did not happen because
Okay.
I think after I was done getting my BA, I was so burnt out on school. I couldn't think like what your husband's doing. I was like, I can't think about getting a
It's too
PhD.
much. Yeah.
Like, and if I had taken maybe a year or two off and then done it, but
Right.
I'm rooting for him. I am so excited to see where he ends up because I hope he gets
Me
that
too.
corduroy jacket.
I know. Yeah, it's a good look. The professor look, I think.
Okay, so you guys, okay, we know you're outdoorsy. Are you guys traveling quite a bit?
I it's funny. I have traveled a lot
You have.
and yeah, I think so. I mean, I've lived abroad a couple times. I've traveled a lot. But now I feel like logistically it's never much fun. It's always like a canceled flight or um I don't know. I do enjoy it. I
You enjoy it?
enjoy
Okay.
once I get there. We just went to Montreal actually for vacation a couple weeks
Nice.
ago, which was really fun.
Yep.
Um, so we'll see.
Do
We'll see
you
what the future holds.
so do you guys do I know like yeah, international travel is harder now. Do you do like do you guys like to take domestic trips anywhere?
A little bit. I mean, we see family a good
Yeah.
amount ish, on the west, more in the west, but yeah, I don't know.
It's funny when you become an adult, it's like you burn a lot of vacation going to
Yeah,
see family,
right.
right? Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into doing some adventurous trips. And
Yeah,
now that our kids are of age, we could actually take them somewhere they
right.
remember.
Have you gone international with your kids before?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Haven't done that yet. We did get their
Okay.
passports. I'll tell you that.
Nice.
But that's our plan for
Yeah,
next March or April, like their spring break. We are going to do
yeah.
that. So
Good.
I'm either going to do Costa Rica. I've heard it's a
Okay.
very fun, family friendly place.
Yeah.
But the other place we really want to go to is Japan.
Ooh, yes.
Have you been there?
No, I haven't. I hear it's
Yep.
amazing. My parents are going in October.
Okay. What was it?
Yeah,
Was it fun living in Paris? Did you like that experience?
I did. Yeah, it was wonderful.
It was.
Um, it was, yes, it was incredible. My French was horrible, still is. I'm very embarrassed to say I'd studied Spanish up until that point, but yeah, I mean, we would take field trips to, the Council of Europe or The Hague or the International Criminal Court. I mean, it was just we were, yeah, close to a lot of things. And, my school, it was probably half Americans, half students from all over the world. So if we're talking about communism, somebody grew up in under a
Yes.
communist state and can talk about their experience. And so it
Yes.
was just wonderful to be exposed to that when you're studying international relations and being in that environment. It was wonderful.
Yeah, that I remember. So, Katie, I went over after I graduated college. I went for just 2 months, right, to backpack
Yep.
Europe. And
Yep.
man, what a like lifelong lesson. Because we got on the Euro rail, and it's crazy, and like especially in Western Europe, where you can take a train ride and in 2 hours be in a completely different country, speaking
Right.
completely different language, different
Yeah.
traditions, right, different cultures, and navigating through that as someone that could not speak any of the languages, right, was so interesting and so humbling. And I got such a respect for it, especially when you got into some of the countries where, God, like in the Netherlands, where people were speaking 4 to 5 languages.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, I can barely speak my own language, and you guys are. crushing 4 to 5 different languages. You're like,
Right. I
so it
know.
was really
Yeah.
eye-opening, but it also made me like realize I wanted to see more of the United States as well,
True.
you
Yeah.
know?
It's so diverse. I mean, it's, yeah,
It's
they
so
get
diverse,
incredible landscapes and
big time. All right, Katie.
people.
So the spy one is a big one, but because that blew my mind. But what's something that a lot of people don't know about you?
Ooh. Um, I mean, maybe, we just talked about that, living overseas. Um, okay, this is a funny one. So I'm not at all a car person.
Okay.
We have not very nice cars, but one of my dreams in my life is to get an El Camino,
Yes.
like a car truck. It's probably the worst of both worlds, actually, in that, but I think it might be the best of both, a little
Where did
two
you find your
seater.
love for Elcos?
I think just seeing them on the road, maybe in California,
California.
you
That
know?
it seems like a very California because that was like
Yeah.
in high school, people were buying old VW Bugs
Yeah.
buses in Elcos. Like
Yeah.
that's what we call them Elcos. And that was my first experience in high school. Like the older kids after a football game, the older kids saw me and my buddy Jesse. We both had older siblings. So they're like, hey,
Yeah.
you two, you can come with us. And they're like, oh, we're like, okay, cool. Where do we go? They're like, get in the back of the Elko. And so me and Jesse, my buddy, are laying in the back of this Elko driving down BCH. But it was like the coolest moment, right? Yeah. What are we in? Are we in a car? Or are we in a truck? But
I
we're
know.
but we're with
What
these
is it?
cool older people. The car was
Yeah.
cool. It was loud. And that was my first El Camino experience.
Wow. Okay.
So we
Yeah,
got to
I
get you
think
an
this
Elko.
might be, yeah, maybe for like my midlife crisis. That'll be my,
Yes.
you
That
know,
is,
sports
do you ever,
car.
what color would you get if you could pick any color?
I bet red or black.
Yeah. I was going to say
Yeah.
a red would be very cool. All right, so that's the Elko.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would because you've been in different places. Would you resonate with more being like a beach person, a city person, a mountain person?
I know. I've kind of lived in all of those. I would say more mountain and city. Yeah. I think I've spent too much time in the sun for my
Much time
lifetime
in
now.
the sun. I got too much vitamin D exposure, Jay. I'm gonna be straight up with you.
I know. I know. Well, I did have some skin cancer, so it is a legit
You did.
concern. Yeah. So I blame California for that. So I'm a little, I probably
See,
need to dial it back.
that concerns me. That
That's
scares
what's
me.
getting
I'm
you.
very nervous about it. So I finally started seeing a dermatologist again a couple years
Oh,
ago to get checked
yeah.
out.
Good.
But all is good with you, right?
Yes. Yeah, totally fine.
So are you a reader? Are you a music fan?
Mm.
Are you a podcast listener? What's your style?
I love reading actual books, like the ones that open, like not on
Yes,
the
actual
screen.
book. Me
I
too.
know I'm dating myself, but I think now that I don't commute, I don't listen to podcasts
Yeah.
as much. I'm, like listen to NPR in the morning and the evening, get the news. Love some of their, like they have a splendid table
Yeah.
um, podcast that I love, thinking about cooking. But yeah, I love to read. Absolutely love to read.
Okay. Speaking of NPR, did you ever listen to that podcast, How I Built This?
Oh, a little bit. Yeah, I did.
That's a
Yeah.
podcast drop I give to everyone. It's so fascinating because they're in like 45-minute snippets and it's
Mhm.
like it's all of these really interesting companies or magazines that started, like how Rolling Stones started, how Southwest Airlines, how Sam Adams started, and it's incredible. Like the stories are so inspiring. And I'll pitch the one is um, the Sarah Lively who started Spanx.
Oh, interesting.
Sarah
Yeah.
Blakely, Sarah Lively, Sarah.
Okay.
Am I saying that right? Sarah
Blake
Blakely.
Lively. Wait,
Oh
who's
my
that?
God, I'm not Blake Lively. Okay, Sarah. I think it's. Oh my God, this is so sad. The lady who started Spanx. What a
Mhm.
story! What a
Yeah.
story. So
Okay.
anybody listening there, that's a reco on from Jay. It's a great podcast.
Okay.
All right.
I love
So
it.
if you weren't a financial planner, we know you didn't end up
Mm-hmm.
becoming a spy. If you weren't a financial planner, what do you think you would be doing?
Well, maybe a baker because I love eating baked goods. You
Incredible.
know, you could just make them, bring some home.
Are we
I
talking
just don't
all
think I'd want
baked
to get
goods?
up that early.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start right there.
Okay.
It's too early.
It's
We're
too
talking.
early.
It's like 2 or 3 in the morning, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
So I could
very
be an
aggressive way.
afternoon baker. Maybe there's such a thing.
Hey, we're going to corner the market on that. Nobody's thinking about afternoon baked goods.
I
And
know you need a snack.
right.
Yeah,
And Katie, what happens with these bakeries that pop up that are crushing it? They're sold out by 11 o'clock.
I know. Yeah.
We can come in and start afternoon bakery goods
Yeah.
and we'll crush the afternoon market.
Yeah. Let's
Right.
do it.
I
Yep.
think, yeah, nobody's cornered that market. Nobody's thinking like us, Katie.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the baker, yeah, the hours are too tough.
Yeah.
Now, okay, when you bake, are you doing like, do you do it all, or are you like more sweet side, or do you like the breads?
More on the sweet sides.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have a
I have a
specialty?
sweet tooth,
Big
which
time.
is not great for my long-term health, probably, but
Me too. Me too. So what, like, do you have a specialty that you can bake? Like, is it a cookie or is it?
you know, when I was in Paris, I fell in love with the macaroons,
Okay.
the French
Yep.
macaroons. So when I moved back, I had to learn to make them because I couldn't find them
Yeah.
at the time. And so that's something I'll bust out every once in a while. But it takes some time. And so don't always make those. But classic cookies, you can't beat a classic chocolate chip cookie with some
Eat it.
Maldon salt, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes, with a little salt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my mom does too. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I've taken a lot of time. Let's finish with rapid fire. Okay.
Okay.
Early bird or night owl?
Well, not an early baker, obviously. Early-ish. Let's add the ish.
What time do you get up?
6:30?
Okay. And then do you get to bed pretty early?
Like 10.
Yeah. Okay. That's clean. That's the world I want to live in. Like
Okay.
10,
Yeah. That's
sleep 10 to
nice.
6. That would be great.
Yeah.
Um, Podcast or playlist?
Probably the podcast.
Okay. So can you give any recos?
I mean, I do listen to some money podcasts, but
Yeah. Of
I don't know, just to see what people are talking about
course.
and be up to speed. But yeah, mostly just whatever's on NPR. I
Yeah.
really enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite vacation spot?
Maybe Mexico City.
Okay. Tell me about that.
We went a few years ago and had an amazing time. It's a huge city. I think it's like
Huge.
20 plus million
Yes.
people, but easy to navigate, public transportation, amazing food, probably the best food of my life. Wonderful, friendly people, museums. It has everything.
Okay. I love that. I've heard, you say, and the beach?
Except the beach.
Except the beach. I was like, yeah,
The
Mexico
beach
City's
is
not near the
yeah.
beach. But I've heard great things about it. I've actually talked to
Sure.
prospects here that have lived there or are planning to live
That's fun.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about it. Okay. One word your friends would use to describe you.
Adventurous.
Love that. That's a great one. Okay. And last but not least, because we ask our clients this all the time, but
Yeah.
what would you say your retirement dream would be?
I think just having more time to even volunteer.
Yeah.
I think in our industry, I just think we have a lot to give in terms of financial education and are only serving a sliver of the population, right? That's the nature of any business, right? You're serving a set group of clients. And I think being able to somehow share that and broaden that and work with different populations. Like, for example, I used to do volunteer tax assistance, and would help prepare tax returns for people in the community. And it was just fascinating. I loved it and would, yeah, do something, spend some time kind of giving back that way would be great.
That would be. God, all the stuff I learned about you, doing all this good work, Katie. Um, we again, we are so lucky to have you, and the background you bring is so robust and so impressive. And I love like your mission, and I know you want to help people. It's in your core, literally, and like all the things that you've done in the past and the present and what you're going to do in the future. um it's just it's inspiring, and I really thank you for taking this time to let people know a little bit more about you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was really fun chatting with you as always.
As always. All right, me and Katie V signing off. Have a good one.